right, we're in Boston. We're gonna start things off today with Scott Henderson from Rally the Cause at Kane's Doughnuts.
Kane's Doughnuts, world famous donuts.
Then we're gonna head over to the Mullen Agency and then finish off our day at New Balance.
We're at Kane's Doughnuts.
Kane's welcomes Humongo. Hey.
We're with Paul, one of the owners of Kane's, world famous donuts. Tell us about Kane's.
Well, Kane's is a business that was established in 1955 by Bob and June Kane, and then my folks took it over in the mid-'80s, and we've had it since. You know, it's an old-fashioned donut, hand-cut donuts, and they're made the old-fashioned New England way. We try to use as much fresh and local ingredients as we can possibly, and every day, this is what you get.
All right, we're at the world's famous Kane's Doughnuts, and look who we ran into. Scotty Hendo from Cause Shift. So you've since moved from Indianapolis to Boston.
Yep.
And launched this whole new company. Tell us about the new company.
Yeah, I launched Cause Shift. It's we're strategists who like to provoke, connect, and market. We kind of play in the space where we're helping private sector and nonprofit sector and government sector come together to use the media and technology that we have available to us to enact big social change.
All right, Scotty Hendo from Cause Shift. Thanks.
We're at Mullen and we brought donuts.
So this is a little Boston trash talking. We're outside Mullen, about to walk in and meet the crew from Mullen. And who do we meet but Lori from Digitas?
At Moda Mags, and I want to say hello to at High Huff, who led the 4-round Digitas versus Mullen ping pong tournament. And I don't want to say we kicked their ass, but we kicked their ass. And I'm eating yo donut.
All right, we're here with Stuart Foster at Mullen. So Stuart, what do you do here?
It's a really great question. I actually don't know entirely right now because it's such an evolving and emerging field. My title is technically a social strategist, but I touch everything from creative to media to PR.
That's a great point in that a lot of brands and agencies don't really know where to put social media and where it fits. So like, how's Mullen dealing with that?
Because we're an integrated agency, I think that a lot of the time I just go where I'm needed because there is such a huge need right now for certain types of expertise. So basically I'll go to one department, share my insight there, try to coalesce between another department and try to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
Do you think that like you guys are writing any rules as far as, okay, we understand it's gonna work best in like a best practice that works like this or like that, or is it really still case by case, client by client, project by project?
Well, I think it's really defined a lot by the account that we're actually working on because, for instance, you know, some clients put all of their social media within PR, and then some clients completely separate it and don't view them as the same thing. So they literally have two different departments, they're in two different places, you know, and there's no coalition there. I mean, we have a social media and PR group, and that's technically where it lives here, but at the same time, all of our creative ideas are inspired by, you know, things that create content and are just trying to be socially activated, so there's always a social thumbprint on every single thing that we do here.
Stuart,
right.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Daryl. Thanks.
So these are from Kane's, some of the best donuts on earth. We just came from a few minutes away.
These are awesome, but
yeah.
I'm counting, and they're not all here. I mean, aren't there usually like a full-blown dozen or?
Yeah. All right, we're here with Edward Bochez, Chief Creative Officer at Mullen. What's going on at Mullen? What's new at Mullen?
Oh man, there's a lot new. As you know, we're you know, like a 40-year-old agency. Spent our first 39 years in the suburbs. You're here just a little bit after our first anniversary in our new digs in Boston, and you know, we like to think that the last year has been sort of the reinvention of us as a sort of more modern digital agency. So
it's kind of cool to see what a new environment can do to an agency's culture or any company's culture, and how that can reinvigorate a brand and a culture within a company. What would you say to a company that was considering a move into a new space?
When we designed this place, one of the big things we focused on was space that would create collisions. And I think by definition in this day and age, everything is so much more convergent. I mean, a creative team is no longer writer art director. We've got, you've got UX and you've got digital design and you've got technology. And we've got those people almost sitting on top of each other now. And even if they're not, they've got glass walls. So, and we've got more open spaces and workrooms and war rooms and that kind of stuff. It's unavoidable.
And speaking of social, you actually spoke in an interview that Ben Coons did with you for our blog, Brand Flakes, at South by Southwest, and talked about how you dove into Twitter, just like let it became a part of your life, and what you were able to turn that into.
For me, it was the real honest answer is, I'm getting old, and for this business, and how do you stay relevant? And you stay relevant by being curious and trying new things, etc. And I just get into all this stuff, I guess, relatively early for the advertising industry. And I just found it to be incredibly liberating. I found it also to be remarkably informative in terms of understanding all the new consumer behavior and trends in terms of sharing and distribution and interactive and participatory and real time, and consumers moving from being consumers and viewers and readers to creators, and participants in all of the conversation. It's one other thing I think that's interesting that's going on is, and I'm seeing this a lot from clients, which is those who have rushed into the space, they've rushed in sort of haphazardly, right? So they've got advertising, they've got websites, they've got microsites, they've got another microsite, let's build a third microsite, let's get on Facebook, let's get on Twitter, let's be on YouTube, we need a branded channel, and then suddenly they step back and they look at it and they go,
there's no plan.
Holy shit, none of this stuff goes together. I have no idea what the relationships are among and between them. I have no idea how my consumer is interacting with this stuff. I have no idea if these things are driving anybody down into the funnel. I don't know how to measure it. I don't know what's monetized and what's not. And I'm really not sure what analytics I should use to make subsequent decisions for where to modify. And that's going to be the new help me that agencies and marketers are going to start to hear from clients.
And great, thank you
Great
very
to
much.
meet you. Thanks so much for coming by. Awesome.
We're at New Balance.
All right, we're with Kelly Gray at New Balance. Kelly, what do you do at New Balance?
I work in digital marketing on our social media efforts and content for NewBalance.com.
New Balance, specifically, like in the running community, has been a part of the local community, and that you guys have always aggressively sponsored individual races across the country. So how has that translated to the social media landscape? And that's it's still a community thing, isn't it?
Yeah, grassroots has always been a huge part of what New Balance does, and it's really getting to the athlete where they are. And the same thing is true in the social space. We're trying to get to people where they are, talking about our brand or things that interest us as a brand. So while we would go and sponsor a running event and be on the ground with runners, supporting them in their race, we're also online supporting them in their training, in just venting about running.
Nike Plus got a ton of press with just the creation of Nike Plus. Adidas just launched their thing, not getting nearly the adoption that Nike Plus did. Are you guys doing anything in that arena?
We actually just built a Facebook application with Met My Run that's featured as a tab on our Facebook page, and through that you can go in and build your day's run and share it through your Facebook page, to show people that you ran that day, and it's kind of a nice way to sort of promote what you're doing, as well as kind of help others by showing them routes that you've run.
Can you think of any mistake that you've made as a brand from a social media perspective that you've learned from?
I think one of the things that we're learning now, and I wouldn't call it a mistake, but one of the things we're using our Twitter stream and our Facebook page both to do is to try and help people who are more comfortable with those areas in terms of interacting with a company. So somebody who's not going to pick up a phone and call a customer service line to try and get help with what product should I wear, the sole on my shoe ran out, you know, any kind of issues that come up with customers, we're trying to use our social mediums to help them get answers to the questions that they have, as well as, you know, again, just trying to go and be where they are, not forcing them to call our call center if that's not the medium that they're comfortable with. So it's not necessarily a mistake, but it's something that we're still learning, you know, how best to utilize, is kind of adding almost a customer care aspect to what we do in the social space.
All right, Kelly, awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Great to meet you.
What a great day in Boston. We learned a lot of things today. First of all, best donuts in the nation, Kane's in Boston. And trust us, we've tasted a lot of donuts. Second, we visited Mullen, where we learned how changing a work environment can really reinvigorate a workforce. And not just a new space, but a space that completely switches it up from what you're used to. That reinvigorated Mullen, and now they're on the way up in ways they've never seen before. And lastly, at New Balance, we saw how, regardless of what social media tools you're using, in the end, it's all about community. Now come on, let's go. And now we're off to New York City.